Let's try this again. Okay, what we are doing tonight, or right now, is we are going to work on the first puzzle in Advent of Code 2024. So let's get going. Let's see. Oh no, my mouse is getting ready to die. That's not really not prepare well. Okay. Excuse me. Alright, now we can work on the puzzle. Alright, day 1, Historian Hysteria. The chief historian is always present for the big Christmas sleigh launch, but nobody has seen him in months. Last anyone heard, he was visiting locations that are historically significant to the North Pole. A group of senior historians has asked you to accompany them as they check the places that they think he was most likely to visit. As each location is checked, they will mark it on the list with a star. They figure the chief historian must be in one of the first 50 places they'll look. So in order to save Christmas, you need to help them get 50 stars on their list before Santa takes off on December 25th. Collect stars by solving puzzles. 2 puzzles will be made available on each day in the Advent calendar. The second puzzle is unlocked when you complete the first. Each puzzle grants 1 star. Good luck. Alright, here we go. So, you haven't even left yet, and the group of Elvis senior historians has already hit a problem. Their list of locations to check is currently empty. Eventually, someone decides that the best place to check first would be the chief historian's office. Upon Upon pouring into the office, everyone confirms that the chief historian is indeed nowhere to be found. I'm gonna turn this music down because it's a little loud for me. And I'll put that like there. How about that? That's probably a little better. And maybe turn the mic up a little bit. I don't know. How's that sound? I'm hoping it sounds okay. Okay. Gonna move the screen a little bit here. Slide this over. Alright. So upon pointing to the office, everyone confirms that the chief historian is indeed nowhere to be found. Instead, the elves discover an assortment of nodes and lists of historically significant locations. This seems to be the planning the chief historian was doing before he left. Perhaps these nodes can be used to determine which locations to search. Throughout the chief's office, the historically significant locations are listed not by name, but by a unique number called the location ID. To make sure they don't miss anything, the historians split into two groups, each searching the office and trying to create their own complete list of location IDs. There's just one problem. By holding the two lists up side by side, your puzzle input, okay, so this is my puzzle input, it quickly becomes clear that the lists aren't very similar. Maybe you can help the historians reconcile their lists. So we have a list of numbers. Doesn't look like they're sorted. Maybe the lists are only off by a small amount. To find out, pair up the numbers and measure how far apart they are. Pair up the smallest number in the left list with the smallest number in the right list, then the second smallest left number with the second smallest right number, and so on. So it'd be like 1 goes with 3, and then 2 goes with 3, and then 3 goes with 3, and then 3 goes with 4, and so on. So okay, so that makes sense. Within each pair, figure out how far apart the two numbers are. You'll need to add up all those distances. For example, if you pair up 3 from the left list with a 7 from the right list, the distance is 4. If you pair up a 9 with a 3, the distance is 6. So it's a difference, but it's an absolute value. I'm assuming the Okay, so in the example list above, the pairs and distances would be as follows. The smallest number in the left list is 1, and the smallest number in the right list is 3. The distance is 2. So it's a distance of 2, not -2. So it's just an absolute value of the difference. The second smallest number in the left list is 2, and the second smallest number in the right list is another 3. The distance between them is 1, and so on. So just kind of illustrating how this would work. And then to find the total distance between the left list and the right list, you add them all up, and then you get a total of 11. Your actual left and right lists contain many location IDs. What is the total distance between your lists? Oh, I need to log in. There we go. Okay, so let's set up my project first. I'm going to do this in C# with .NET. And I think I'm going to use, there's a new testing framework called T unit that I think I'm going to try for writing tests. This is built around the new testing platform for Microsoft they just released. So I'm going to give this a shot. So let's set up a directory. Make dir event code for. Let's go in there. Open that up in VS Code. No, this is last year's. That's not what I wanted. CD advent. There you go. It says I have one viewer. Anywho, and if you're not familiar with Advent of Code is basically an advent calendar that's 25 days of puzzles, and it's 2 parts. You do one part, then you unlock the second part, and you basically just, there's a bunch of people who compete and try to be like the first ones to get them done. But for me, it's just kind of about the fun of solving the puzzles and having a reason to write code and kind of practice. Okay, so what am I gonna do here? I am gonna set my project up. Let's go ahead and put that over here. We'll put this guy over here. So the first thing we'll do is we'll create a README. Code for. I had a format for this last year that I did. I can't remember what it was. I only made it to day 14 last year. So how did I do this? Okay. So this repository contains solutions for the Advent Code 2024 challenges, languages. Let's see. Sharp challenge. Structure. Do I need to really do all this right now? Looks like I had a nice little table. I will do that part later because that's not very interesting. Well, I'll just do it now. Let's see, structure. Each day's solution. Separate folder. Each folder. Oh yeah, I forgot that I copied the problem last year. Why I did that? I think it was just for posterity. Yeah, And then I'm gonna do one. Yeah, I'll do this again. Main.net. Wonder if GitHub Copilot can get me a link to that. Is that the right link? Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is all going to be the same again. And the solutions. This time it's going to be 9. Challenges. Looks like I just had a nice little table. Just add to this as the I think these were just notes that I put in here last. Probably this. Which wants me to put this? Round tables always mess with me. Okay, I'm not gonna screw around with that because that's gonna bother me, them not being aligned. I'll do that later. Okay, so we got the readme. And so we'll go ahead and follow that same structure here. We'll put our dot files at the root, on the new config. Sorry, it's taking me a minute to actually get to the problem solving. It's done to do, ignore the solution here. Put the solution. Actually, let's make a. Yeah, let's just put that in solid code. And then directory. Okay, so the first thing we need is a problem. B. And that we can just take from here. Code block. That heading. New line. These numbers. Quotes. I mean, not quotes, but in code. Every single one of them. Oh, and this was a list too. I think the reason I did this last year was that it was just a helpful way to like force yourself to kind of look at the problem a little bit closer. So I'll just stick with past Stevens approach. I don't think the first part of this is going to be all too challenging. Famous last word, though. Yeah, I think that's okay. All right, that's our problem. And let's go get our head and get our input. We get that down here. Text file. Paste that in. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and create our actual console. And I'm just going to name it after the name of the puzzle, Historia and Hysteria. And Hysteria. Have that little solution. And then I have to figure out how to create so how do I create one of these? So it's just another console app with the okay, so you get G. Does it have a template like template? No, we'll just do what it says. Okay, so sit down console out. That's going to be Historia and Hysteria test. And then said go ahead and delete the program. Let's add pre-release. And .NET add reference. Actual test project, and then .NET. It's fine. Yes. Let's try to build. Okay, cool. And then we don't need to do anything just yet. Okay, so what do we want to do first? I think the first thing we want to do is we want to read in the text file, create two separate lists, the left list and the right list. So let's do that first. Oh, and I also need to make sure that the input gets copied to the when the project is built. So I need to. Which one is that? Is that in the test directory? Yeah, there we go. You need to put that in the test directory project because we're going to use that. And then how did I go about loading the? Yeah, I just took args. Why did I do that? Why did I require them to give the input? Yeah, okay. So that's easy enough. So let's just steal this from myself. That here. But we don't need this. Wait, this is not a real thing yet. This is not a thing. Oh, I need to change my editor config too. So I'm going to use 2 spaces. Don't want to prefer this. Okay. I do want to time it. Then I would not return anything. Why is this not happy? I don't think we want to. How did I test this last year? Yeah, I think I just need to not return that. Not return that. Wait. And what do the actual puzzles solve right here? Instances. I think I also passed another argument to this that was basically I need to basically add a switch for part 2, but this is fine for now. So we're gonna read all the lines. It's also generating assets for debugging. Do I want to do it against the whole? Yeah, that's fine for now. And then I also think I need to modify this. VS Code. Arc. Then like, yeah, so it's like, there's some way to request. VS Code request. Arc. I've done this before. Something like that. Honestly, I don't know. VS Code launch packages. Okay. So okay. So we do this configurations, do inputs. It's like input file. Let's do input. Okay, so I think if I try to do this, and then if I hit enter, it should run. It's like an extra period here or something. Or do I not have that in the right place? Oh, so it's looking in the same. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna instead of putting this here, I'm gonna put this here. Yeah. What do I want to do here? I don't. Yeah. So I think if I actually. There we go. There's my input. Okay, and my stopwatch and all that good stuff. Okay. So I think the first thing I want to do is I want to have a puzzle parser slash parser, and that's the public method. That's just going to parse. That's going to take, it's going to return. Actually, I don't know what that's going to return yet. The thing I need to do is I need to say item. Kernels. Pretty sure that's how you do it. I can never remember any of this stuff. CS prods. Yeah, it's like that. But I'm just gonna do what is that? Assembly name? It's assembly name.test. And then I can just copy this to the other projects. Okay. So, what are we doing? We're going to parse the puzzle. So I think this is gonna, what we're gonna want is we're gonna add a test class. Puzzle. Sure. Test. Yes. Namespace is gonna be. I'm guessing other people have already solved this puzzle in the time that it takes me to set this up, but I just that's fine. That's not the speed is not the point for me. Yes, this the file scoped. Oops. Yes. And then nope, don't do that. That's actually I might disable pilot. This is gonna get kind of annoying. Let's see. Writing your first test. Okay, so just use the test attribute. And we're gonna say public async task. And all these methods are async because I guess in TUnit their assertion library is all async based. It's all awaitable. So we're gonna say parse when given lines returns left and right lists. Why does this have a warning? It's not. Oh, because I didn't declare it as a method. And that's complaining because there's no wait. Okay. So we want bar, and I'm actually we're gonna say bar put. And for now we are just gonna use we're gonna use the example here. So we're going to say collection. No, I guess I can't do a collection this year. I'm going to say new. String. Avoid user empty. No, because I'm going to initialize this. So I'm going to say this is all. There we go. And okay, so that's our input, and then var that's just going to equal puzzle structure dot parse pick input, and it's going to give a fact result. And up here we'll have a private read only puzzle parser. Do that up, and there we go. This will be yeah. So I think this is asked what this is going to be. Is this is going to be a public method? It's going to return a tuple of the list of int. And that's we're going to call that left, and then list int right. We're going to parse, and we're just going to take string array. Let's call that lines. And for now, we'll just this is still complaining, so let's just remove the async for now. This void. Then I'm not actually sure how to assert yet. Assert that the assertions. There you go, assertions. As member. What does has member do? This. Yep. Then await this. And it's a task. See. This now. Wish this had a does this have search? No, they don't. Hey, checking. Well, let's just for now. Let's not give out. Let's just say that result dot is not null. Which this should just throw. Let's see. I don't think VS Code is going to pick up my build. There's somewhere where they talk about how to get it to work with. Yeah, there we go. Enable.net. Search settings. Open. C#. Use testing platform. There you go. See if it picks up. Didn't look like it picked them up. Let's try to reload the window. What if I do again, it's like dot default solution going to be yes, settings.json. Relevant. I think that works. Maybe let's go up one. There we go. There we go. Now I picked them up. Okay, so when this should break, should just throw an exception, which it did. Let's actually go to the Yep, okay. So what we actually want this to do is we want to say is is flint too. I think that's what we want. And we want to say we want a tuple. It's gonna be a new list of int. And specifically, we want it to just and say this should be 3, 4, 2, 1, 3. And this one should be 4, 5, 3. That. Oh. Just a test. That can actually use flexion expression there. Can we use it here? Can this infer? Oh, yeah. Okay. Infer. Okay, now that's right. So this should pass. I hate this one. Don't warn me about that. Is it because I tried to... Maybe we do a stop, drop top left. I've never actually done an assertion like this against a tuple before. Maybe this isn't the right way to do it, but whatever. I feel like this should work now. Okay, so it must be something with how I was doing the tuples. Okay, well this is not actually the way to do it. Because that's going to fail with our real puzzle input. So what we actually want to do is we want to split the lines by the space. Right, because our puzzle input has a space in the middle here. So we're going to say initialize our list. So left, and then for each in lines. For far it's going to be line dot split, then dot sort, and then these are strings, so we'll say s dot trim, and then again select and dot first. Should be the nouns, and then we'll say left is going to be left dot add nouns 0. Oh, tray. Well, if I did this right, this should still work. It has something to do with the way I'm splitting. It has something to do with the way I'm splitting the input. That's not right. Spinning. I'm probably pushing my little computer a little bit here, trying to stream and code. What the heck? It knows that there's tests there. I'm not sure why it's not picking it up. We're just building a test project. I think VS Code is just being slow. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. That was just working just fine. Yeah. Okay, so I want to be able to debug this. So I'm going to close VS Code. Start from scratch. Some dude solved this in like probably 3 minutes with a one-liner in Python, and I'm taking an hour. I'm taking this music at the moment. There we go. Here we go. Alright. I think I just probably could split it on the 4 lines, on the 4 spaces or whatever this is here, but I'd like to just be able to say I'd like to be able to just say, just split it on a space and then trim off whatever's left. Why is this hanging? No, it can't be my program. It can't be my little method here. We're not even doing anything. This is frustrating. So it runs fine when I... Interesting. Something with the debug is off. Or was off or something. I don't know, now it seems to be working. Yeah, it's like it's never... Huh. That's weird. Okay, so let's just say instead of split, trim, I think this should work. Yeah, because that's just basically split it, trim it, split it, each individual character, trim it. Probably actually don't need to trim. Okay, so now we have our parser. So we can say bar input into parser. And we can give it our input. It likes the destructuring. I guess I can do that in my test too. Alright. But you know what? No, because I have to sort them. So yeah, this is fine for now. Okay. Now let's create move that to its own class. Okay, now let's do another class. Using how do you a puzzle solver? Solve. I'm gonna take a list of int left and right. I think because I kind of have half a mind to have like a record that's like or maybe a class. I'd have mine have a class that's like pairing and it has like int, it's like public left number, like there and there, and then public int right number, which has there and knitter. And actually, I'm just gonna do this. So then we have public and distance. It's just this expression body, which is math absolute. Left number, right number. Yeah. I guess the part in the parse method, we could actually sort these two. But I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, let's just do that in here. So we'll say what do we want to say? Guess we could do this recursively, couldn't we? And just I think that's a good idea. But basically, we want to loop over. I think we're guaranteed these lists are the same length. So I think what we can just say is we can just say for I equals 0 and I is less than left dot count I plus plus R rule and we can sort them dot sort think that mutates it. C# list sort mutate. Yes, does the list sort modify the collection? Yes, sort is in place. That it will certainly invalidate any iterators. The order by operator doesn't modify. Yeah, I think left, so left order by sort list and send it. So this is the num to list, and then sort equals right order. I'm just not a big fan of mutating things. Sorted.count. And then we'll just do because now they're sorted sending. So what we can do is we can do left. Well, let's just do that here for now, and then we'll just. And then let's create a new test class. So yes, copy this guy over here. Solve in once. Distance. So this would be, say this is this guy, this guy, and then just going to solve left, right. And in this case, we're expecting it to be assert that result is equal to 11. And 11 because that's just what the example problem is. So that's a known. We know for sure that distance, and that's always my approach, is to code against and write my code against and use the example problem as my test. Because theoretically, for the most part, if I can solve that small example, it should solve my bigger input. There's definitely some cases where there's edge cases that aren't illustrating the example but show up in your input, so sometimes you have to work around that. But Um, I think on day one that shouldn't be a big deal. So, let's see. If we run this test right now, this test should fail because it should be 0. Okay. So all we need to do now with our for loop at this point is I think we can actually, what we can, because they're sorted, we can say, and because they're sorted and they're the same length, we can say for each bar and num for left number, left number, and index, and we can do um, left sorted dot select, and I'm pretty sure we can project this. This. Yeah, because this is the number. I think that will work. I'm actually not sure. Let's see. And then theoretically, it should be total. It's just going to equal left number plus right sorted index, like that. C# for each with index. Yeah. So for explicitness, let's say right number plus right sorted. Oh no. Oh, actually, this is where I can use my pairing class. Which is an overkill to use my right pairing class. Yeah, I guess it's kind of overkill to use that because we can just do this. It wouldn't be too hard though to. Okay. I think this should solve now. Oh, weeks. Okay, so now we should be able to run this on our actual input. So, var distance solver. That. We can print it and say right line a distance total distance between this is and then we can set it in object, which is going to be O1 we can give it the path, because if you don't give it the path, it's going to error. Let me run it. You provide a path. Yeah. Oh, I should also not. We'll say O1 input. See if that's right. This should be our answer, or hopefully it's our answer. We got one gold star. It only took me an hour and 30 minutes to get to that gold star. That's probably worse than everyone else. But that's okay. So let's go ahead and put this in its own file. It's also log the time that it took. Stop watch. What do I call it? Stop. Lapsed. Get to the. Oh, that's the time frame. Let's do elapsed. Stop. Elapsed milliseconds. That's fine. We'll rerun. $65 seconds. Yep. Okay, 63 more seconds. Okay, cool. I'd like to do so. It would also be cool to hook up some benchmarks to this, wouldn't it? Let's see. Puzzle parser, puzzle solver, puzzle test. Is there anything else? I think that's it. I guess I kind of want to actually write a test for the actual. Like, I think I can do something like. I think I can do something like that. And then that partial class should have a main. Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to actually have a test for that. So let's actually convert this to static int name string. Now what I can do is I can actually go into my test and almost write basically what is like an end-to-end things I'm getting used to. Public basic task. It six. Actually, no, that's done. That's done. Delete. Get rid of all this. That all back. And then in the puzzle solver test, I'll just basic task solve given puzzle input. And in this case, what we'll do is we'll actually do for input path equals path to path combine and context dot base directory and then input txt. Sure, which is basically what the program main is doing, but it's fine. This is fine. But equals boot I dot reball line basic. I'm interested why. Wasn't the answer was? What was the answer? This guy. I didn't mean to run that again. I meant to refresh my tests. Passes. Okay, cool. Let's see what part 2 is about. I think I need to update the problem. I can't remember how I did this. Yeah, I did it like yeah, I basically did. Like, so what's part 2? This actually now is one of those situations where doing a pairing probably makes the most sense. So I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit of refactoring. Okay. So what's it say here? Your analysis has only confirmed what everyone feared. The two lists of location IDs are indeed very different. Or are they? The historians can't agree on which group made the mistakes or how to read most of the chief's handwriting, but in the commotion you notice an interesting detail. A lot of location IDs appear in both lists. Maybe the other numbers aren't location IDs at all, but rather misinterpreted handwriting. This time, you'll need to figure out exactly how often each number from the left list appears in the right list. So you'll need to figure out exactly how often, so the number of occurrences, each number from the left list appears in the right list. Calculate a total similarity score by adding up each number in the left list after multiplying it by the number of times that number appears in the right list. Okay. The first number in the left list is 3. It appears in the right list 3 times. So the similarity score increases by 3 times 3 equals 9. Oh, okay. So maybe the pairing's actually not helpful either here. So that music is not the vibe. So what is there anything about what we've already done that we can use? We can definitely use the parser because that gives us our 2 lists. This though is going to be completely unique, so let's go ahead and rename this to calculate total distance, and let's go to our tests, and let's call this distance. So our tests are named correct. Okay. Yeah, so really what we need to do is I'm going to parse it each time. var is part 2 equals part 1. Yeah, so it's like part dot length is 2 and part 1 is part 2. So here's part 2. Do that. Else this. And then instead it'll be the similarity score between the list is our similarity score. And this will be today's similarity score. We need to define that. This can be public and return a hint. So hint, that's going to be the left list. Just be all of these guys, and then list. Okay. Edit. Console. Task this. I should keep warning me about that. 1822. Oh. Okay, so then we'll have a test that will say, it'll basically be this guy, but it'll be calculate given this should return. Should fail. No, what? 31 is expected. So okay, so 31's the expected. Let's go ahead and run that so we can see it fail. And part of doing this is trying to practice writing code. So I'm trying to like do good habits, right? I'm trying to do as much tester driven development of these solutions, right? Come up with kind of the ideal ergonomics of what I want to write, but then also write the tests and then make sure that the tests fail and then actually try to write a solution. So it takes longer, but I think I'm getting good reps by doing it this way. Okay, so we're gonna calculate the similarity score. So we're gonna have they don't really need to be sorted. We don't need to sort them this time. That doesn't matter. What we need to do is we need to have a total. And let's just go ahead and return the total. And in between here, what we need to do is we need to loop over none in the left list. So for each var num in the left list, what we'll do is we want to count. So we want to get a var. What do they call it? They call it, I think they call it frequency. So how often? So I think we'll just call this count. Var count equals right dot count where I is none. But I don't think I can do is, I have to do equals. And then we want to increase the total by the num times count. Just like that. I think that's going to get us to 31, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Okay, cool. That wasn't too bad. Sometimes the part two on these puzzles, like you solve the first part and you have a really nice, elegant solution, and you think you've kind of laid things out in a really nice way that makes a lot of sense. And then part two just kind of blows it all up. um, but this not so much. So it's a good first day puzzle. So let's go ahead and try to solve it on the actual input. So the way I have this set up is now when I do .NET Run, I need to pass the input file and R2. Let's go ahead and do that. And 97 milliseconds. Let's see if this checks out. Boom. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a test for that. 'We can actually remove some of the redundancy here too in our test setup. So let's call this get. Let's call this get puzzle bliss. And let's call this a tuple. should work. Yep, awesome. Okay, so now we are good. So let's go ahead and check this in. We got our problem. That looks all good. Yep. Okay, and let's see. Let's create our challenges. Oh, this took way longer than I was expecting. 2 hours. I am not a Speedy Gonzalez. I'm hoping I make it past day 14 though, this time around. So we can just take that off there. Why is it wrapping like that? Really don't like that. Maybe Copilot can help us with doing this. There we go. Okay, so maybe there wasn't a problem there. Maybe it was just VS Code. I was making it display funky. Yeah, there we go. Great way to start. I know I had this should auto format markdown. Yes, okay, so the problem is there, but this is actually like this area. There should be, I feel like that should be able to auto format. That's- So which one's better? This one has a ton more installs. Maybe the status column is kind of silly. Don't know why I care so much about this. Okay. Yeah. Part 2. Sweet. Alright. I think we are good. Let's go ahead and push this up. Oh, I don't know why, but the default template doesn't ignore app settings. So I always add this. Get add, get in. So, or no, you can just say day one, leave it. And then gh repo create, push the existing, be this. Solutions to the problem. Add code, move forward. Make it public. GitHub. Push them up. Do it on the web. Nice. All right. rocking and rolling. So, cool. Unfortunately, what was I gonna say? Unfortunately, I solved day 1, but I think the day 2 puzzle is out now. So let's share this. I'm gonna share this in Blue Sky. Okay. Yeah, so I think tomorrow's problem's already out. But I'm not gonna do that tonight because it's already late. I am gonna try to though stream whenever I work on the problems. I don't know if I'll always be able to complete them in a stream, but I'm gonna try to at least stream what I can when I'm working on them. So yeah, we'll see. I'll probably be back tomorrow night to work on number 2. So hope you guys had a good evening. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving holiday, and looking forward to more Advent of Code streams. See you guys.